Retro Readers, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is my what I read in February, or my February wrap-up. In this year, or this month, this year, I read 10 books this month, which is really crazy for me. Usually I read about 7, but this year so far I've been upping my reading game. So let's start off with my one DNF that I did not finish, or I put down this month, and that is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. I believe I only got up to 50 pages in it, and I wasn't really enjoying it as much. It sounded really interesting, like an ingenious code hidden in the works of Leonardo da Vinci, a desperate race through the cathedrals and castles of Europe, an astonishing truth concealed for centuries, unveiled at last. So that sounds like really interesting, and, it's a popular book, I guess, that's not on BookTube, but like popular outside of BookTube, and I thought I was gonna really enjoy it, but I read it I only read 50 pages of it, and the writing style was just way too detailed for me. Like, it was just more focused on the details, and because of that, I didn't really understand what was going on, and it was just really slow for me reading through it, so that's why I DNF'd it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to pick this up again. At least I tried, but it just was not my cup of tea. So let's move on to the books that I read on my phone that I use. I use a Hoopla app, or the Hoopla app, to borrow books from my library and read it off my phone. And so I read 3 of those books this month. The first book that I read and finished on Hoopla is Clean Sweep by Ileana Andrews. And I rated this 4 out of 5 stars. It was very interesting. It was a quick read. It was very fun, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it was interesting. I liked the writing. It was a quick read, like I said. I liked how the supernatural creatures, like vampires and werewolves, were not they were creatures, but they were like aliens, who came from outer space. And so they weren't like mythical beings. They were like, it's different, from how we usually think of vampires and werewolves. I really liked that aspect of this book. And I liked the story, I liked the details of it, and I loved just the world. And I really want to continue on with this series, so that's what I have planned. To continue on with this series. I have a lot of series I started and I need to finish. I have the Bridgerton series, I only read the first book. Now the Clean Sweep series, I only read the first book. And then I'm reading Harry Potter. I'm gonna read Twilight. Oh my gosh, it's a lot, girl. Okay, so what Clean Sweep is about this girl who she runs an inn, and she protects the inn customers and guests from the world, I guess. So in the inn, it's a travel stops for aliens and stuff, and so she's the innkeeper, she has responsibilities, and something happens where there's this killer. Something's killing animals and scaring people around in her neighborhood. and so she has to like try to hunt it down and like protect the people in her inn, I guess. And also that it follows like this guy. Well, it doesn't really follow this guy, but like there's this guy who is a werewolf in it, and she like doesn't like him, and he doesn't like her, and he finds out he's an alien, and it's just all this crazy stuff. But it's really good. There wasn't really anything that I hated about this book. It was very good. I kind of wish that there was more to it, you know, but it is a series, so I'm hoping that the story continues on, and yeah. So I get more of the world, you know. The next book that I read is actually an audiobook that I borrowed from my library, and it is Sadie by Courtney Summers. And this book was just so good. I actually rated it 5 out of 5 stars. It was just perfect, you know. So what this book is about this girl who, it's like YA, and she her sister, who she like cares for and stuff, her younger sister, she dies and is murdered. And so Sadie is on this trip to find her killer. She knows who her killer is, but she's trying to find him. And yeah, it just follows her trying to find the killer. And it's also told through her perspective and a podcast. So like there's this guy who like runs a podcast, and he's like following her story and trying to find her and find out what happened to her sister. And it's really good. I highly recommend the audiobook that you read or listen through the audiobook. I haven't read the story itself. I do plan on buying it in the future and like reading it in book format, you know. But yeah, I really liked the dual perspectives of it, and just it was a lot of fun. I liked the story, the writing, the characters, just everything about it, and like the background too. What I didn't like about it, I can't really think of anything that I didn't like about it. Probably like, well, I can't think of anything that I didn't like about it that is not spoilers. So I won't be saying anything about that. But yeah, it was really good. So the last book that I read on my Hoopla app was Sheets, and it's a comic book. I don't remember the author off the top of my head, but it was very good as well. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. And what Sheets is about this girl who, it follows this 13-year-old girl who is dealing with her grief that her mother died, and she's really sad, and she runs a laundromat, and the laundromat is like being bombarded by like this guy who's like wanting to buy it, and he's like scheming his way into ruining her business and her family's business. And that while that's happening, she meets this ghost who died, and yeah, she just kind of like, it just deals with her grief, and the ghost doesn't really fit in with other ghosts. It's a YA book, and it's just really good. What I liked about it was the story. I liked the actual like sketches and the art in it. It was really nice. I also liked as you can tell, I love Halloween. And I liked how in this book, actually, it's set during like Halloween time, October-ish, and I wasn't expecting that, and I was super excited about it. There wasn't anything I really hated. Again, I'd like to see more of it, but it is also a series. There's like a second comic book out right now, I think, from it. But I would have liked to see more of like the friendship being built between the ghost and the girl, because it was just like they hated each other. Then she was scared, and then they became friends, and it was like really quick. But yeah, okay. So now is the time for my physical books that I read this month. So, let's see. The first physical book that we will be talking about that I read this month is This Is Where the World Ends by Amy Zhang. And this book is about this girl who, she's like kind of quirky, and she's like, she hates the world, like, except for this guy. And kind of like the manic pixie dream girl, kind of. That's what she is. And she's quirky. She doesn't like other people, but she's popular. And she really is friends with her friend, a guy. And so, basically, she's wacky, quirky, and the guy is very shy and not popular, and they're best friends, and he loves her. And so, that's the characters. And so, what happens is, she declares an apocalypse because it's quirky. And, shit goes down, and he forgets his memory. He has amnesia, I guess. And so something happens, and he has amnesia, and she disappears. So throughout the story, you're following both perspectives of her perspective and his perspective, and her perspective from before the shit happened, and then his perspective from after, and you find out what happened and through him and her. And yeah. The only thing I liked about this book was the writing. It was very unique. That's all I liked. I hated the manic pixie dream girl situation thing. It's so cliche, honestly, in books like this. This book kind of reminded me of Paper Towns by John Green, which I also didn't like. Or even Looking for Alaska by John Green, which I also didn't like. It's just a lot. And I also hated, basically, it's just a walking cliche. There are trigger warnings in this book. Well, not in it, but I will give you trigger warnings if you do choose to read this and you do like the manic pixie dream girl, John Green-esque writing. The trigger warnings are suicide, thoughts of suicide, and rape. So those are 3 trigger warnings for you guys, and depression as well. So 4. Yeah. So be warned. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. It was good, but then it also, I don't really like the manic pixie dream girl type book. So not for me. Yeah. The next book that we'll talk about is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I read this month and didn't really enjoy it. So it's very popular on BookTube, this book, Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. And I noticed that a lot of people give it 5 stars and really enjoyed it. And I thought I was going to enjoy it more than I did. But that is not the case. So I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. Again, it was good, but not like really good or anything special. 3 stars is like a neutral for me. Or sometimes I'll just rate it a 3 star because I don't think the book is okay. I think it's good, but not really for me. Or I'll rate it a 3 star and I'll be like, it was good, but not really good, So, okay. What this book is about is Hate to Love Romance, about between the president's son of the U.S. and the Prince of Wales. And there's a secret romance and forbidden romance in this book. And yeah, it just follows their romance. Yeah. What I liked about the book was that the romance was cute. And I can see why it's hyped. I just wish that there was more enemies to lovers in this. It went by really quick, the enemies part, and blink and it's gone, honestly. There was also what I hated about this book. Okay, we're switching gears now. The only thing I liked about this book was the romance. I thought it was cute, and I can see why it's hyped. But, yeah, I didn't like it. What I hated also about it was there was a lot of exposition in it. And I felt like it was just too much exposition. So exposition, I believe, is just explaining oh, this is what happened while you were gone instead of being in the moment. And I hate that in books. I understand when it's used in a good way, it's good. But when it's used like this, no, not my favorite. There was also mistakes in this book, grammar mistakes, spelling mistakes, kind of like that, and it kind of pulled me away from the story. Yeah, I liked it, but not enough to keep it or even hype it up, So I'm not going to be doing the hyping of this book on my channel. There's other channels on this app, on this platform, that really like this book, but I'm not one of them. Sorry if it's your favorite book. I am who I am. Alright, next book that we're talking about is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. This was also very popular on BookTube a while back, probably in 2016. And everybody liked it, including me now. This was my first time reading this book, and oh man, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, really enjoyed it. What it's about is a girl, Louisa, who she leads a boring, simple life, and she takes care of a quadriplegic, think that's how you pronounce it, and he can't really move. The only thing he can move is his head and his hand just a little bit, and so the rest of his body he's paralyzed and he cannot move. And so she gets a job caring for him as a caregiver, and just doing stuff for him, around the house and stuff, and man. And yeah, she ends up falling for him, and she is determined. Well, one second. Okay. So while she's like giving him care and stuff, and taking care of him, she learns that he tried to commit suicide. And so she also learns that by the end of 6 months, when she's like, that was her part of her contract, he plans on having assisted suicide happen to him, because he doesn't want to live like that anymore. And so the whole book, she's trying to make him change his mind, and they go on adventures, and they fall in love, and yeah. This book had just got me. I finished it last night, and I'm still like, just, ugh. Okay, what I liked about this book was the story, the characters, the writing, just everything about it. What I didn't like about it was the trigger warnings, which was not even mentioned in the synopsis. Yeah, so I'm just going to mention them now. If you have wanted to read this book, then be warned. Here is your trigger warnings. Trigger warning for graphic detail of self-harm, just in one part. And then trigger warning for assisted suicide, and trigger warning for just depression and stuff. This book is very sad, and yeah, it's good though, but just be warned. So anyways, yeah, I really liked it, even though it was a very sad book, and it's good. So basically, I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars because you can't do 0.5s or anything on Goodreads, so that's the official rating. But I'm saying I'm rating this 4.5 because it's very close to, like, loved it, 5 out of 5 stars, but not like quite there yet. I don't know why, but like I'm kind of like hesitant on giving 5 out of 5 stars for books except for Sadie this year, so yeah. Alright, so the next book that I will talk about is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Oh my goodness. I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It was good, but not quite really good. And yeah, there is a reading vlog that is up that when I read the first, the second, and the third Harry Potter book in one vlog. So if you'd like to watch that, then here you go. I think it's over here. But yeah, I didn't really write down like what I loved and hated and the summary of it. So you're just going to have to you're just going to have to watch the reading vlog, but I just gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The third book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I actually gave 2 out of 5 stars. Again, there's a reading vlog for it. I didn't write anything down on it, because usually I write sticky notes, but yeah. But yeah, so I read those. So 3 out of 5 stars, 2 out of 5 stars. Yeah. As you can tell, I don't like Harry Potter too much, which is a recent discovery for me. Okay, next book is The Reef by Nora Roberts, and oh boy, did I love this book. This is my first Nora Roberts book that I ever read, and it was so good. So I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, but like me before you, I am giving it 4.5 unofficially. The official is 4.5, or 4 out of 5. But it was a very close 5 out of 5 stars for me. It just, I loved it. So what this book is about, if you like treasure hunting and like pirate modern day and back in the day books, then you'll really like this. It's about these treasure hunters, and they're like two families, and they go treasure hunting in the sea and the ocean, and they like dive for treasure, and yeah, so basically it's these two families, and they like get together to hunt for a specific treasure that's like cursed, and it's like a cursed jewel or something like that, cursed necklace. And yeah, so one of the families, they like have been trying to find this treasure for so long, for ever since like for years, I guess. And the other family just finds out about it, and so they like hunt together, and like then there's like this evil guy who's like trying to find the treasure too, and he's like destroying the family's lives. And then of course there's also romance, but it's like more of a subplot or side plot than the main attraction. So yeah, this book was really good. It also has a revenge storyline to it as well, that I really enjoyed. And it was also enemies to lovers, which I really love, enemies to lovers. Yeah, okay. What I liked about it was the writing. It was very suspenseful. I liked the hate to love trope. That's what I was trying to say. And I thought that was a very fun adventure. I really liked this, as you can tell. What I hated about it was really insta-lovey, which I quite didn't enjoy. And it was a bit slow-paced in the beginning, but other than that, it was really good. And I honestly want to read more Nora Roberts books now. Alright, last book that I read this month was The Captain's Courtesan, and I made a whole entire video about it. So if you want to watch it, it's like 50 minutes long, but if you want to watch it, there you go. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. It was okay, only because of a certain thing that happened that probably shouldn't be included in this book because it was really disgusting. What it's about is historical fiction following this girl trying to find out what happened to her sister and who ruined her sister, basically. And she meets a hot hunk who is a captain, and she's like disguised as like a lady of the night trying to find her sister, or find out what happened to her sister. Well, she knows that her sister died, but she's just trying to find out like why and how, I guess. What I liked about this book was the historical fiction aspect of it. It was set in the Regency era, so 1816, I believe. Very fun. It was very entertaining, and there was a lot of drama to it. And a lot was happening in this book, as you can tell in the video. What I hated was the main guy. He actually, like the love interest, he actually kisses his stepmom, and the main character, the main girl, she sees that he kissed his stepmom, and she isn't grossed out by it, and my brain can't comprehend that, so disgusting. Okay. Also, something happens more between the stepmom and him, and it's just, yeah, okay. But yeah, this book was okay. It's part of my historical or Harlequin romance review videos, so yeah. Okay. Fortunately, I didn't read any H.P. Lovecraft this month. I was focused on the main books. So, yeah, I don't have anything to share for H.P. Lovecraft, but I'm sure next month I'll be reading him and I'll have things to tell you. But yeah, that was all that I read in February. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if you read any of these books or if you liked them or what you read this month. I'd love to know. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. I post reading content, book content mainly, but I also I'm starting to post like vintage content too, or thinking about it. But anyways, yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope you have a good day, and yeah, bye.